Hi everyone, it's Sandra. Thank you so much for coming to my eBay sales video today. I appreciate the fact that you're here. So I've been getting some pretty good sales lately. These are my sales for the past week and a half or so. I have been selling on eBay since 1998. I only sell part-time. We have 3 different IDs, but the one that we talk about here is the Funky Pickle store. Also, I just want to mention we very, very rarely offer free shipping. I think there's one item here where we did do free shipping. We don't sell internationally, and we just started to accept best offers on certain items. Leave me a comment below. Tell me what you think, and happy hunting to everybody. That's really the point of this video. I hope this gives you ideas, and you can find similar things that I have found and flip them for a profit. So this is an empty ice cream box from 1964, I believe. Now, this was put out by Hood Ice Cream. This is a very, 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 very rare item. I only see these come up for bid anywhere on the whole World Wide Web about once a year or once every 2 years. So a lot of this game is really about supply and demand, right? Now, I had bought this in the 1980s at a Beatles convention, and I paid $25 for it. So I would say I got a pretty good return on my money. And it was actually in nice condition. I've seen them so much worse than this. And I just want to show you, I did include a video here. Let me just move myself. So I was able to put this video in through HTML. I don't know if people know how to do that. If you're interested, let me know, and I will try to do a video on exactly how you do this. But I did put in a YouTube video. Let's see if it will play. So let's have a look at this box. You can see the graphics. Look at how nice that is. Anyway, I think you get the idea of the video and how helpful that is for my potential buyers. I was thinking this item was going to go for somewhere between $2,200 and $2,600, but I did run an auction. I really needed 2 people or 3 people to start battling it out for it to go higher. But I figured if I only had one bid and I was able to get $1,800 for it, that would be like better than fine, right? So I got one bid, paid $25 for this in the 1980s, and sold it for $1,800. People are always asking me how to sell CDs and DVDs and what to look out for. And it's difficult if you don't know music. But some advice I always give people is keep an eye open for classic rock and southern rock. Those are 2 things that can sell for money. Now, this one, it's a little bit more nuanced. It's by Al Kooper. Al Kooper very, very famously wrote that organ part on Like a Rolling Stone for Bob Dylan. He was a producer on a lot of records. Anyway, it doesn't matter who he is. The point is this. This is a Japanese pressing of a CD. So if you see a CD that is pressed in Japan, you should comp it out because it may be valuable. And I believe the reason is because of manufacturing laws in this country. There's a certain way we have to manufacture things, and they make them sonically inferior to the Japanese pressing. So this one was Japanese, and I paid $1 for it, and I sold it for $19.99. And I sold this one too. So this is called the Digipack. You know, a jewel case is the name for that sort of plastic case that most people are very acquainted with. But this one is just cardboard, and it opens up sort of like an old double LP. Anyhow, this one was also made in Japan, and I paid $1 for it at the same yard sale, and I sold this one for $24.99. I bought a lot of really cool flower power, hippie, mod fabric at a yard sale last spring. And I already made my money back many, many times, and I have just a few more pieces left. So I think I started out trying to get $300 for this piece because it is almost 10 yards of really groovy fabric. And I kept lowering the price, and this one was free shipping. So I sold it for $75 with free shipping. Very, very happy. It's a great thing to look out for. I love selling fabric. So Monet is a designer that has some value. People definitely collect it. I believe this set is from the 1980s, but it sort of has that Art Deco retro look to it. And the thing with this set, I had it laying around and I kept saying, I gotta list it, I gotta list it. And I did, and it sold within 10 minutes or something, which I'm not complaining. Like I really do love when that happens, but I think this one was priced a little bit too low, but I don't care. I think I paid $1 or $2 You know, maybe as much as 5 since it was a set. I doubt it though, but we'll just say I paid 5 and I sold it for 50. So still really great. My mom watches my videos and she said that it's really, really boring when I talk about CDs and DVDs. So I will try to keep it brief, but Val Luton, very, very cool. And I am the original owner of this set. I bought it when it came out, so I probably paid $20 for it or something like that back in the day. It was in near mint condition and I sold it for $75. I sold some Honora pearls. Honora is a really great company. I think they sell on QVC or HSN. I always get those two confused. I had bought this at a thrift store, actually. This is not part of the estate sale because I bought a lot of Honora pearls at an estate sale. And I just love these colors. They're really deep, rich colors. And yeah, they were new in the box. There it is. There's the pouch and the box. So I think I paid $5 for these in a thrift store and I sold them for $39.99. This is a yard sale find. I actually had 2 of these. I sold the other one a long time ago, and I had this on my crazy shelf in my den, in my eBay work area. I did do a video on that, so if some of you have seen it, you know what I'm talking about. And it looks like a chip on his nose, but I think that's just the reflection of the light. I hope it is. Yeah, it's just the reflection, thank goodness. Anyhow, paid $1, sold it for $24.99. We just lost Michael Nesmith, of course, of the Monkees. Now, people are very, very into him. He has sort of a cult following, I guess you could say. And after he died, I figured it would be a good time to put up this very, very rare magazine. It's called Artist Pro. This is like a recording studio kind of publication, and it was my husband's, so I didn't pay anything for it, and I sold it for $12. Next up, I have this DVD box set. This is Mystery Science Theater. I had another set as well that sold better than this one. It sold for more money. I paid $3 each for them. So this one was $3 and I sold it for $14.99. Luckily, somebody reached out to me and said, hey, are those posters still in there? And I didn't know it was supposed to have posters. So I was so happy that I just got that question. So I was able to update the auction and say there's no poster. So I dodged a bullet there because somebody would have been upset. Anyway, paid $3, sold it for $14.99. I've been going through totes of old merchandise that I just needed to put up. So I went through all of my totes, and that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. Some of these things I did buy a long time ago. This is a Speakman shower head, and these can sell for triple digits, believe it or not. And I think I paid $1 for it, maybe $2, and sold it for $20.99. Here is an old pipe. I figured this was going to have value, and interestingly, it really didn't. Anyway, I'm sure I didn't pay more than $1 for this at a yard sale, and I sold it for $12.99. I was at an auction a few months ago, and I bought a bunch of very high-end vintage perfume. So this came from that auction. I think when I cost averaged it out, I think I ended up paying about $25 a bottle for them. They were sealed and new, and this one was, I don't know how to say that, Marcel Rocas? I don't know, sorry. But I sold this one for $90, which is really great. This one is probably from the 60s, I would think. These old perfumes, they do turn bad, especially when they're this old. But somebody told me that what happens is that the sort of rancid smell, once you put it on your wrist or your neck or wherever, that wears away, and then you're left with the good scent that's underneath that sort of like dries up or something. And the reason that some of these sell for a lot of money too. You see, I put old formula. There are certain things now that are illegal to put in perfume, like maybe endangered trees or certain animal gland secretions. I'm not exactly sure, but that's why some of these old perfumes command really, really crazy, crazy prices. So good profit on this. I sold another one of my Big Dragon tack pins. I think I have a few more left. I sold 2 this week, actually. Didn't pay much for it, probably 25 cents. I bought like a little baggie full of them, actually, at a yard sale for a couple of dollars, and I sold this one for 12. Another tip when you buy DVDs is to think about their rarity and sort of their uniqueness or their weirdness, if you will. So like a Tom Cruise DVD is probably not going to sell for much money. Like an Adam Sandler DVD is not going to sell for much money because they sold so many, right? Supply and demand, big, big supply. Now this one I thought was interesting. It's kind of a cool psychedelic 1960s films by Roger Corman. I'm sure some people know who that is. Anyway, paid $1, sold it for $15. One of my YouTube viewers bought this spoon from me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And if anybody's watching and you bought anything from me, I really, really am very appreciative of that. So thank you. This is a little Mary Poppins silver plated spoon. It is from the 60s. It's just a darling little thing. Bought it at a yard sale. Don't know how much I paid. Not much. And I sold it for $14.99. And thank you. I bought 3 pieces of Tiffany's sterling jewelry at an auction. I paid $30 for all 3 pieces. The piece I was really after was an acorn necklace, which I sold last week. I can't remember what I sold it for. Was it $150 or something, or $125? Anyway, this one I sold for $39.99, so I'm very, very happy with that price. This butterfly is so beautiful. It was made in West Germany, and it must have been made of like aluminum or something because it was very, very light. But I just love the double-decker wings. Love those colors. Wow, what an outstanding piece this was. And it looked brand new. I think I got this in a thrift store. Maybe it was $2.99 or $3.99. And I just did to buy it now for $24.99, and I got it right away. I got this thermos at a yard sale a couple of years ago. This was one that was in one of my totes. And I thought that I was going to get a lot more money for it. I think at the same sale, I got a banana splits one and something else that sold for a bunch. So this one didn't really have a lot of value, but I am happy that I sold it. I don't think this is a TV show or anything. I think this is just generic, the Secret Agent Spy, but pretty cool, from 1968. Sold it for $12.99, paid $1. I love some good bubblegum / power pop like this, and I found this one in a thrift store. It was still sealed. I bought a whole stack of them, maybe 60 or 70 of them for $1 each, but then I think he knocked money off too. Anyway, this was one of those, and I sold it for $19.99. I got this item at an estate sale. This is an estate sale where I also bought some opera glasses. I got a lot of really great stuff. This was very, very beautiful. I think it's a caviar spoon. I don't know. You know, what do I know from caviar, right? Really cute, though. Not silver, but I think this was definitely old. And very beautiful carved mother of pearl. So I think I paid maybe 50 cents or $1 for it, and I sold it for $14.99. The Beatles complete scores. So this is just my sort of weirdness. I got this as a gift for Christmas a few years ago, like when it first came out. And then I started getting funny about opening it. I did want to open it, and I wanted to have a look because, you know, I'm a musician and I can read music and all of that. And there were a couple of questions I had about some parts. But I didn't want to open it because I knew it would ruin the value. Anyway, so I never did really get any enjoyment out of it. And I sold it for $50. So this has every single Beatles song ever recorded, and it's the exact transcriptions of every single note that was played and sung on every single record. So pretty cool item. Sold it for $50. I love selling Schaefer and Cross pens. I really don't know anything about them, but if I see them and they look kind of cool, I buy them. These were $10 in a thrift store. I saw that they were rolled gold plate, and they had this sort of grape design, which let me see if I can show it to you. You can't really tell, but it's sort of like vine and grapes. Can you see that? But they were new. Look, they still had their tags on them, and they both worked too. So there's a pencil and pen. Paid $10 in a thrift store and sold them for $89.99. This is a recent find. I got this at a community yard sale, and I bought a bunch of jewelry from 2 different guys there, and this was in one of those lots. I have sold Michal Golan before. I believe that's how you say her name. She's an Israeli jewelry designer, and she lives in New York City, and I think she puts everything together by hand, and I think her stuff is very interesting. It's unusual. You know, even if you don't know anything about jewelry, if you were in a store, hopefully you'd probably just buy this because it's an eye and it has rhinestones and it's signed. Kind of a cool item. So I think I paid $1 for it, and I sold it for $24.99. Here's an old dog license from 1934. It was from Brooklyn, so I thought this was pretty neat. I think I got this in a lot of other stuff. I've had this for a long time. I was just going through some old stuff and I found it. Anyway, sold it for $10. Not bad. Here's one I bought at a yard sale a few years ago. I love bottle brush trees. This is a great vintage Christmas item. And it has this sort of mercury glass garland going around it. It has snow on the edges of the branches. And it also was musical, and it spun around, and it worked great. So I started out trying to get more money than this, and I just kept lowering it, right? Because I need the room. I have a small space. And I always feel like everything's going to sell, but it has to have the right price. So I just kept lowering it and I sold it for $34.99. This is an interesting piece. I bought this years and years ago when I used to live in New York City. Now, I used to put a candle in that, but it is missing its glass dish. There's supposed to actually be an amethyst glass dish on the top. So it was missing that. And I'm sure I didn't pay more than $1 or $2 for it. And I sold it, even with that missing glass, for $19.99. Ivana is a name brand that sells pretty well on eBay. I had found this in a jewelry lot that I bought. I didn't pay much for the lot, and there was some real gold in there. So that whole lot doesn't owe me a thing. And I sold this one for $34.99. I'll show you what the signature looks like. There it is, Ivana. Good price for that, $34.99. Happy. This bracelet is beautiful. This was solid 14 karat gold. Guess whose bracelet this was? My mother's. She found this at a yard sale for $1. I don't know how she does it. Really beautiful. This type of link, I think it's called Figaro link. Look at that, almost 10 grams of 14 karat gold. What a beautiful piece this was. So I put this up. I sold it for $4.40. And the reason, by the way, that I put not scrap, a lot of people do that when they sell gold on eBay. I think some people do want to buy the scrap, and so they type in vintage 14 karat yellow gold scrap. So that's why I always put not scrap, because some people might want to use it as scrap, if that makes sense. So it's sort of something that a lot of us use just as a search word. And anyway, great profit on this. This movie's kind of a freak show. It's really weird. Frank Zappa is in it. Jack Nicholson is in it. I think Nicholson co-wrote this film, and it's pretty crazy. It's a weird monkeys movie. It never did well in the theaters because the thinking was that it was a very cool, hip, sort of edgy film, and they figured if they put monkeys on it that it would not be a good thing because the monkeys were kind of uncool. They were bubblegum band that children liked. So they didn't sort of advertise it as the monkeys. They didn't kind of advertise it very well at all, and nobody ended up seeing it. But it's kind of an awful film anyway. I bought this on Amazon when it first came out, and it's since gone out of print. I think I paid $19.99 for it on Amazon in the day, and it really went up in value, so I sold it for $90. This is a beautiful sponge coral branch necklace. So nice. I think it's from the 70s. What I really liked about this one, it was really big. A lot of times you see these branches and they're just really delicate and really small. I mean, which is nice too, but these just were particularly nice. Very thick. That's called a barrel clasp right there. I think it's from the 70s, and what a great piece this was. I think I paid $1 or $2 for this in a thrift store. I think I got this as part of a lot, and I sold it for $25. Here's a great thing to look out for. People love vintage under things, and especially girdles, but especially when they have long legs. Those sell, and you see this one does. It's sort of like a pair of shorts. Pretty cool. This was new. Now, it didn't go for a ton of money because it's Avon, Anyway, paid, I think, $2 for it in a thrift store and sold it for $25. Here's a little piece of fabric I got somewhere. I think I may have paid $2 or $3 for this one in a thrift store. It's new. It's really pretty. It's quilting fabric. It's nice and thick, and it is Spider-Man. So I sold this for $14.99. This is an exceedingly rare and interesting Carly Simon book. So what it is an advanced, uncorrected reader's proof from Simon & Schuster. So in case you don't know, Carly Simon's father is the Simon in Simon & Schuster. And this book never came out. And this is just an awesome book. It had some great photographs. A lot of her handwritten lyrics, look at that. And one thing I found out, I read this whole book, of course, but one interesting thing I found out in here is she had her handwritten lyrics to You're So Vain, and it was actually originally called You're So Lame, which I think is really kind of interesting. Anyway, I did not sell this one for $2.50. I sold it for $1.50. Really, really happy with that. Paid $1 for it at a yard sale. Here's two great shot glasses that I got. I think I paid $1 for these at a yard sale a long time ago, but I figured these might sell, right? Humphrey Bogart and all of that. Look at those. Those are cool. Love those. Paid $1, sold them for $15.99. This is an interesting item. This really looked like it was silver. It may have just been silver plated. I don't really care. I just really wanted to get rid of it. This is a tea glass holder, and it's Russian. I had to look all this stuff up. I paid $1 for it at a yard sale. I think it's really, really pretty. It was like in near mint condition, really perfect shape, and I sold that one for $24.99. That's kind of an interesting item. I had never even seen such a thing, but I took a chance because I thought it looked interesting when I saw it at the yard sale. Good sale. Here's a no-brainer. If I see something Led Zeppelin and it's sealed, I'm definitely going to buy it if it's $1. This one was. I got this at a yard sale and I sold it for $14.99. Really low price on this one. Somebody got a great bargain, but I really trying to just keep my merch going out the door here. Somebody said, I don't know who said it, I think it might have been somebody on YouTube, said you have to ask yourself, are you running a storage business or a business where you're actually selling things? And I think about that a lot. So anyway, just trying to keep stuff going off the shelves here. Here's another digipack or digibook. This is Abbey Road, and it's super irritating to me. What is going on with these stock photos, eBay? Anyway, I paid $1 or less for this in that whole lot that I bought of CDs that were new and sealed. And I sold this one for $9.99. Now, interestingly, I'll show you, the picture does show up elsewhere. See, it's there, so I don't know why it's doing that. Anyway, sold it for $10. I found this little necklace at a yard sale. Actually, I think it was that same yard sale where I bought that Harry Winston 14 karat gold pen. And I do have a video, like a ride-along video of me going to yard sales that day, so you can see me sort of finding it. It was $1, and it's sterling silver, and it's so interesting because it's an atom. Who has ever seen an atom necklace before? What a great gift for a scientist or a teacher or just anybody. Kind of a cool item, right? So those stones are just glass, and when they're smooth like that, that's called cabochon. And yeah, I like this one. It did have a modernist look to it, and paid $1, sold it for $22. I had two of these. I sold one of these last week for $10, and I sold one again this week for $10. Kind of a cool item. Again, a little bit different, right? Not something you see a lot. Kind of a weird show from the 60s. And this one included this collector's poster, which sort of set mine apart from the rest. Vintage Christmas stuff sells really, really well. I think most people know that, but people really like pixies or elves. I really like that he was wearing pink and not red. Look at that face. Look at the eyelashes. Really cute little item from the 1950s. Love that thing. Anyway, paid $1, maybe less, sold it for $14.99. Loot crate stuff can sell for a little bit of money. I happen to have bought a whole box full of it at a yard sale for $10 last summer, I believe. And this is the last piece from that. Oh, maybe I have one more thing out of there. Anyway, I paid $10 for the whole box. I think I made $60 or $70 on the box so far, and I sold this one for $14.99. So completely in the profit on this item. It was new. I had two of these CDs. This is from the same CD haul, all new and still sealed. And I put this one up and sold it for $11.99, paid $1 or less. Here's the last item I sold. This is a very collectible name brand. Signer is the name. And unfortunately, there was a problem with one of the backs. They're clip-ons. Wow, look at those. Those are just so cool. I love the design. And you see they're clip-ons, and there is a way to fix them. One of them was very loose, unfortunately, and I hope the person who got them would be able to fix them. I think there is a way to do that. I looked online, and I can't do it because I'm klutzy and I'm not very good with things like that. But hopefully someone will be able to fix these and wear them, because those are really, really very beautiful lapis blue Signer earrings. That's all I have for today. Thank you so much for coming to my video. I hope that you got a couple of tips on things and you can go out and buy some of them and make money on them too, just like me. I hope to catch you soon. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to catch more videos like this. Have a great day, everybody.